We're now very honored to welcome Mr. Paul Wasserman as our keynote speaker this morning. Born in New York in 1964, Paul's family relocated to Tustin, California. In 1980, his family moved to Fullerton, where he graduated from Sunny Hills High School in 1982. Paul attended Cal State University Fullerton, where he met his wife Sutton, and graduated with a bachelor's degree in economics. In 1987, Paul attended law school at the University of Santa Clara, where he graduated magna cum laude. He then joined the San Francisco mega firm of Heller, Ehrman, White, and McAuliffe in the fall of 1990. In 1992, following his passion to be a trial attorney, Paul left corporate law to join the San Mateo County District Attorney's Office, where he worked as a deputy district attorney, prosecuting a broad range of crimes. In 1996, while in the domestic violence unit, Paul created the county's first high-technology crime unit. He successfully prosecuted the first of its kind case of computer fraud, extortion, and computer network intrusion in a nationally reported case. In 1999, Paul and his colleague, Alessandro Ilisani, left the law industry and founded ebates.com, an internet shopping website for rebates. Paul was the CEO at eBates for several years when he and Sutton decided to move their two young children back to Southern California to be near family. Paul remained an investor and on the eBates board of directors until 2014, when eBates was purchased by Rakuten Inc. for, get this, $1 billion in cash. Paul now spends his time refereeing soccer games and learning to fly, volunteering locally, and enjoying time with family. It is in the spirit of entrepreneurship and service that we bestow the Arduous Medal upon Mr. Paul Wasserman. The Arduous Medal honors the outstanding accomplishments of the Honorable George L. Arduous, Jr. as an entrepreneur and leader in the business community. The George L. Arduous School of Business and Economics is honored to call Ambassador Arduous one of its own. The faculty, staff, and students are privileged to have his continuing engagement in providing a values-centered education that shapes the business leaders of tomorrow. So it's now my pleasure to present the Arduous Medal to Mr. Paul Wasserman. Mr. Wasserman, will you please step forward to accept the Arduous Medal? I wish I were taller. I'm pleased to award this medal in recognition of your success as an entrepreneur and your exceptional impact on the global business community. We'll now hear from Mr. Wasserman.
Thank you. Here? Wow. First, let me just get the obligatory thank yous out of the way before I bestow upon you my pearls of wisdom. First, thank you to the university, to President Strupa, the Board of Trustees, and especially Dean Reggie Gilliard, who I can tell you all truly appreciate. I've only gotten to know the dean recently. He invited me to dinner after I was invited to speak. We had never met. I think our friend Alex had told him about me, so he wanted to make sure I didn't drop a ton of F-bombs during the speech. Dean, I promise I will not. No, sorry. You guys wouldn't mind. The rest of them would kill me. I got to say, though, we were supposed to have kind of a quick meet and greet. We ended up spending multiple hours at dinner. I had a great time. The dean's a fascinating guy. I enjoyed his company, his humor, and as a budding pilot, his stories from the Air Force Academy. I can tell you that Chapman University will be suffering a great loss when the dean moves on. Dean, thank you very much for your service to the university. I also definitely want to thank all the friends and family that are here today. Graduates, I'm sure you'll realize everybody dreads getting that invitation in the mail that they're going to have to be here. Sorry, but it's true. What are they going to say? No, seriously, I'd rather sleep in on Saturday morning than spend 2 hours in the sun waiting to hear your name so they can all yell, woohoo! So they're doing you a solid. But most importantly, and this is probably because I am one of them, thank you to the parents. Here is to you. Here is to those late night drives to Michael's craft store because the 5th grade mission project is due in the morning. Here is to crying in your car. It makes me cry when I think about it. When you drop your kids off at kindergarten for the first time. Here is driving them around and around and around while they bitch at you from the back seat for most of their adult life, or at least adolescent life. You are done. You have done your job. They are no longer your responsibility. If they murder a drifter, it's on them, not you. So, graduates, please give your parents a forced round of applause. And thank you, parents, for everything. Now, on to you. Because this truly is your day. There are no fake participation trophies here. This is the real deal. You should really, honestly, take great pride in this accomplishment, undergraduate or graduate. This is truly an amazing event for you all. Please soak it in. I remember what it was like to do this. As the dean mentioned, I've done this twice before. Once for Cal State Fullerton for undergrad. Go Titans. Anybody? Any Titans? All right. Leave us alone. And then Santa Clara University, go Broncos for School of Law. Great soccer team. Get over it. So at this moment, I honestly, I can say this with conviction, I know exactly what each one of you is sitting here thinking at this moment. You're thinking, shut up, old man, I got a party I got to get to. I get it. But that's okay, I got a thick skin. However, in addition to harboring that dread of my impending pedantic ramblings, I know that you are also, most of you, harboring this one pervasive thought. I don't know what I want to do when I leave here. And you know what? That's okay. Graduation is a serious, exciting, and momentous occasion, but it's also, quite frankly, kind of scary as hell. Very few people are prescient to know what they want to be when they grow up. Do I want to be an entrepreneur? Do I want to go into sales? Do I want to delay the inevitable and hide out in the MBA program? Or for you MBA guys, isn't there a doctorate program I can hide for another couple of years in? Yet, while I can't give you any advice on who or what to be, I think I can give you some advice on how to be. Because figuring out how to be is something I believe firmly forms the foundation, and more importantly, a successful life and a career in service in your community. You will learn not only how to be, but who to be. First and foremost, whatever you choose, please be passionate. I say unequivocally, you will not achieve your greatest potential if you are not passionate about what you do. Period. End of story. But don't confuse passion with what you want to be with goals that you are passionate about. Obtaining fame and fortune is a goal, no doubt, but it is not that passion that will get you to that goal. In my experience, the probability of obtaining those goals falls dramatically without a passion for what you are actually doing to get there. Or put in terms of my fellow econ majors, any econ, where are the econ people? Woo-hoo, Adam Smith. They're all laughing down here. The rest of you are like, you're a sad man. But for my econ friends, I put it this way. There is a logarithmic correlation between the two. For every increase of quality of the marginal goal widget which you add to your graph, what passion your career requires will logarithmically increase. But more importantly, oh good, you guys got that. Excellent. But more importantly, if you don't have passion for your career, if you decide that working for Michael Scott at Dunder Mifflin, but if you decide that's the path that you want to achieve your goals, you are relegating yourself to life as Jim Halpert. You will be waking up every day with your stomach churning in a job you despise, day in, day out, year after year, in your slow, inevitable march towards the grave. Happy graduation. I personally learned this lesson the hard way. After law school, I went to work for a corporate mega firm in San Francisco, as assigned to the securities litigation department. I figured that the six-figure salary I was making out of law school would put me well on my way to achieving my goal of not only paying off my student loans, but also reaching that lucrative position of a partnership of prestige. Instead, within a few weeks, I realized what a major mistake I had made. Don't do it. Instead of following my passion, I spent the 2 longest, most miserable years of my career life in a passion I had zero, in a job I had zero passion for. And let me be honest with you. If you are miserable at work, you will be miserable at home. I was a newlywed at the time. My wife Sutton's here tonight. And I realized very quickly, it could have been 2 years, 3, 7, I don't know. But at some point, I was going to be alone with my miserable self because even I didn't want to be around me. So early in 1992, I left my lucrative law job for what was truly my passion, and that was criminal law. Unfortunately, my timing was horrible at the time because the nation was gripped in a recession and open governmental positions were pretty much non-existent. Thus, I joined the San Mateo County District Attorney's Office as a volunteer full-time, working what ultimately was a year for no pay. That's how much I love criminal law. We spent that year living in a tiny apartment, in a one-bedroom apartment in Burlingame, California. My wife's relatively modest salary, spending our date nights at Costco, eating $1.50 hot dogs and reading free magazines. I think it's gone up, and they're no longer Hebrew National, so avoid it. But I'll tell you this, I was the happiest I had been in years. What it taught me is it is more important that passion for what you do, day in and day out, let that shape your goals, and not the other way around. If your passion won't meet your original goal of being rich or famous, or having a job title you can post on Facebook to impress that loser high school friend for some reason you're still friends with, don't do it. Trust me when I say the trade-off is not worth it. Find what you love to do, then bite into it like a rabid dog and do not let go. Be tenacious. In 1999, after spending a very fulfilling and successful and enjoyable career as a prosecutor, paid, thank God, I decided I wanted to pursue my other lifelong passion of technology. I was a computer nerd before computer nerds were ruling the world, and even, frankly, got to converge and kind of merge those two passions when I did get to start the high technology prosecution unit in San Mateo County. I still loved being a prosecutor, but I always wanted to run a technology company. So along with another DA and fellow computer nerd, Alessandro Isolani, we started ebates.com. I don't know, are there any Ebates members here in the audience anywhere? All right, awesome. God, that's so cool. I no longer have a financial interest in it, but hey, I'm still really happy for you all. It's a great product. Running an internet startup in San Francisco in the late 1990s was an absolutely thrilling experience for me, and as thrilling as doing closing arguments. I absolutely loved it. And then, in April 2000, the lights went out. It is difficult to explain what it was like running a dot-com company at ground zero in the middle of the internet revolution when the tech bubble burst. I watched friends lose everything. I watched companies run by people much more experienced than me crash and burn. It was absolutely terrifying. Paul Kuntz, one of our venture capital investors in the early eBay stages, came to me during that dark time and told me a joke which I'll never forget. He said an investor calls up his CEO during this time and says, hey, it's really stressful right now. Hope everything's going well. Hope you're sleeping. You doing all right? And the guy's like, yeah, I'm sleeping like a baby. He's like, wow, you're sleeping like a baby through this? He's like, yeah, I sleep like a baby. I go to sleep for 2 hours. I wake up. I cry for an hour. I go to sleep for 2 hours. And I wake up and I cry. Suffice it to say, I was crying a lot. You, too, will be faced in times in your career where all will seem hopeless. You will want to quit. You will want to run. You will cry. It will be during those darkest moments when you face your own personal Waterloo where tenacity will see you through. If you have the passion for what you are doing, you will fight. Not because you have to, but because you want to. You will work the problem. You will not accept defeat. You will outwit, outlast, and outplay every player in the field. I was very upset Michaela got kicked off. Sorry if I ruined that for anybody watching Survivor. By being tenacious, you will succeed, and you will gain the confidence that separates the average from the exceptional. Coming out the other side of that difficult time, I learned that quality, and call it what you want, call it tenaciousness, call it stick-to-itiveness, call it grit, whatever. But that quality, more than any other attribute you will put into play, will place you way ahead of the game. It is, without a doubt, the X factor in any formula for success. Be ethical. Contrary to popular belief, business is not a zero-sum game. Every transaction is not a commodities transaction. In fact, I strongly argue that what makes one successful in business is realizing that whoever is on the other side of that transaction, an employee, a colleague, a vendor, a customer, they deserve your respect, they deserve your honesty, and they deserve your integrity. Doing the right thing in any situation is frankly pretty easy. I guarantee you, everyone sitting here today will know in 99% of the situations what the right thing to do is. You have all been learning it since you were kids. Hands are for holding, not for hitting. Share your toys. Don't claim to be reaccommodating your passengers when you pull them off an airplane face first. You know, things every child should know. And although I believe that acting ethically and morally should in and of itself be reason enough, the beauty is if you are thinking past the immediate short term, it is entirely in your own self-interest to act ethically. Why? Because business, you will learn, is all about relationships. The minute you stop treating the other person or entity on the other side of that transaction in the way that you want to be treated, you are setting yourself up for failure somewhere down the road. Yell at that employee for making a mistake. In the short term, you might feel better if you have really small hands. But in the long term, you've just cut off a vital channel of communication because that employee will go out of their way to hide the next mistake. And that will cost you, make no mistake about it, down the road. Treat a customer poorly. Yeah, I know, we're dealing with it. Treat a customer poorly. You better know what your customer acquisition cost is. Because that one lost customer is going to go on Yelp. They are going to go tweet about you. They will MySpace about you. I'm kidding about MySpace. I just want to see if you're paying attention. By acting ethically, you'll be thinking long term, which will only make the likelihood of achieving your personal goals greater than without. Plus, you'll sleep better and your mom will be proud. Lastly, just be you. I'm going to let you in on the best kept secret in the business world. It is the one truism that everybody knows, but few will admit. Unless you get them drunk at a dinner party, then they will tell you this. Just don't tell anybody I told you because they will kick me out of the Illuminati. And here it is. Everyone is making it up as they go along. And I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I've spent time with the most successful and influential people in business, and to the person, if they are honest with you, they will tell you they made so much of it up as they went along. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the business world is full of stupid people stumbling through their careers. That is Congress. What I'm saying is I'm trying to be bipartisan, relax. What I'm saying is the only difference between you and the most captains of industry is all they've got over you, all they've got is experience. That's it. They are not smarter than you. They are not more capable than you. It just means that you can do it if you put your mind to it. I've seen the hundreds of mistakes they have made that they will not tell you about, but they do succeed. And you can too. And that's why I'm so excited for you all, because each one of you, by graduating from this exceptional institution, have the tools to be that captain of industry. How? By being you, by being true to yourself, by trusting in your abilities, by being passionate, by being tenacious, by being ethical. You put yourself in the best possible position to achieve your goals. All you will need is just a little luck. And in the immortal words of Edna Mode from one of my favorite Pixar films, The Incredibles, luck favors the prepared, darling. You, class of 2017, are prepared. Now go kick some ass. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wasserman. What an inspiring message.